All right, welcome to the Week 2 Inside Look at Ouachita Christian Football, live from the table here on the campus of OCS during our high school lunch hours. So our guys I know are getting hungry down here. This is the week we take the worn path to Oak Grove, Louisiana to take on the Tigers. Before the season began, I had this game circled, and I know fans from both schools did as well, as this is the game that they were most looking forward to. So I'm here with Coach Stephen Fitzhugh, defensive lineman Ben Duvall, and offensive lineman Ryder Bentley. But before we get into this game, I do want to remind everybody that the game will kick off at 7 p.m. on Friday night with the tailgate show beginning at 6:30 from the Oak Grove Stadium. Last week we ran into some connectivity issues, but we've broadcasted and we've live streamed from Oak Grove before, so there shouldn't be any issues this week. Whether you want to watch it live on YouTube or Vimeo or listen on MixLR, go to OCS.org, click the live stream option, and follow the links there. Also want to thank Sonic Drive-In of North Monroe for sponsoring our weekly coaching show. Yeah, take you a sip, guys. This is we appreciate Sonic. You can go there, you can get an appetizer, a meal, breakfast, a dessert, or just a refreshment like these guys got. So I want to talk about what's going on with our OCS Eagles. Thank you, Coach Fitzhugh. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ryder, for taking time away from your day and coming on to talk about this week's game. So the first thing I want to talk about is the impressive 17-14 victory last week against an extremely talented, well-disciplined, and well-coached team in the Dallas Christian Chargers. One thing I've been looking forward to, something we've talked about in the preseason, is having a kicker. So not as a last resort, but as an offensive weapon. And actually a defensive weapon, too. He punted well last week. So real quick, as we get into this, I want to talk about your confidence in Gavin as we move forward into the season.
I'll tell you, very confident in Gavin. And he showed himself last year. I mean, he was 67 of 70 on extra points. And the ones that he missed, they were missed blocks up front. They were not his bad. And so Gavin works. I mean, that's the thing. He is a very athletic kid. Probably one of the only 5-sport athletes that we've had here at OCS, as he did football, soccer last year, and then in the spring he did baseball, track, and golf. And so very athletic, and he works his skill, develops it, and works hard. Has done a great job, but you can tell the weight room has made a difference this year. I mean, I thought it was great the other night. We had an offside. It wasn't great that we had offsides, but we were backed up 5 yards. He kicked it from the 35, and we still got a touchback. And so that's a big-time weapon when you got a kicker that can do that. And then again, just his even keel, level-headedness that doesn't worry about where he is on the field for a field goal. He can put it through.
Well, I talk about that because it was a 3-point game. We made our field goal. They did not make theirs. And it ended up being, from a point standpoint, that was the difference in the game. But I think it goes deeper than that. It was a defensive slugfest. It was one of those games, if you like old school football, not necessarily the formations, but just the back and forth, the turnovers and stopping them when we needed to. And that was the difference in the game, the turnover battle. The strip by Noah, interceptions by Tate and Zach. And after looking at the film, is that the type of performance that you wanted to see from a senior-led defense in week 1 of this season?
It really is, and that's what we preach, every week, is we want to be +2 in the turnover war. If we're +2, we're going to win 99% of those games, and we were. We had 3 takeaways, and they only had 1, and so again, very proud of our defense, especially. I thought it really stood out, that senior leadership, when they returned the punt all the way down the 5-yard line with about 2.5 minutes left. And, one side was like, oh, we gave up the big play that we didn't want them, we were at least make them drive down the field. But, for the defense to hold right there and push them back on 3 straight plays, that was huge. Ryder made a big play on that. Ben made a big play on that drive. And again, that's what you want to see out of a senior defense.
Well, that's what I wanted to lead into these guys. I mean, Ben, you had a big tackle on that goal line stand. Ryder, you actually had the tackle that kept the punt returner from getting into the end zone. And so, that was a big moment in the game. You two guys are seniors. Ryder, I'm going to ask you this question because you were a sophomore. You played defensive end pretty much all sophomore year.
Yes, sir.
No, not much offensive line.
Yeah.
Then going into your junior year, you made the transition to offensive tackle. You didn't play a whole lot of defense until the end of the year. Well, week 1 this year, you're playing offensive tackle the whole time. Do a great job. And then late in the game, you make that tackle on that punt return, and you're coming off the field. And I don't know who it was that told you, but somebody told you to get back out there and make a play on defense, and that's exactly what you did. It was.
Yeah, it was Coach Fitz.
It was. So, is that something you enjoy, or do you know, how do you feel when Coach Fitz says, "Get back out there, we need you, Ryder"?
I like it. I like going back on the field as much as long as I can get on the field. I love it. You know.
Yeah. Well, you're a gamer, and I thought you I thought you did a great job, and you hawked that guy down for. But you played a great game on the offensive side of the ball with we were kind of slow going in the first half, but really sprung Zach's touchdown run, 74-yard touchdown run. It sprung from your side, some good blocking on that side. So what do you expect this week against Oak Grove?
I expect us to really get out there and get after them, and if we can get after them, we should win the game as long as we play like we should.
I definitely agree with you, Ben. I've enjoyed watching you develop into a dynamic force on the defensive side of the ball. And when I went back and watched film, it looked like the first half they didn't run your way very much in the first half.
Not much.
Yeah, but then we get into that goal line stand, that big turning point in the game, and they tried to run a toss to your side, and you made a big play. You two guys go out every day, whether people don't know it or not. They just see you on Friday nights a lot. They don't see you at practice. They don't see you outside of practice when you're up here working. Can you talk about what you and Ryder have done in the off season to make yourselves better at your skill, at your craft?
Well, Ryder's a big O-line guy. I'm a big D-line guy. So really this summer, this off season, this spring, we spent a lot of time just going at it head to head. Even still to this day at practice, we go at it every single day. Just getting better every single day because in our heads, I feel like I'm not going to face anyone better than Ryder. That's how I feel. And I think he feels that same way going against me. So we just go out every day and, just push each other to the limits.
Does he take it easy on you?
Nah, we don't never take it easy.
No, you guys, I do know y'all are good friends and y'all have made each other better. And like I mentioned, I see y'all out there going just, he gets in his pass blocking stance, you get in your pass rushing stance, and y'all just go. You just say go and get after it. So let's see what else we got here today. All right, let's talk about Oak Grove. All right, big game. Last year, the Oak Grove game was kind of one of those you won't forget because first few minutes of the game, kind of back and forth. Both teams looked pretty well prepared, and then it starts raining, and we get you go for like a 2.5-hour rain delay. People go eat, people leave. We have people that come back, though, and that watch that game. And if you came back and watched that game, you were in for a treat because that was one of the most dominant performances that I've seen on Fitzhugh Field here, especially against a team like Oak Grove. 473 yards of total offense. It was just a huge, and it was, pretty much divided down the middle between running and passing. It's one of those games where I just felt like our preparation and our physicality, we were able to impose our will on the Oak Grove Tigers. And, Ben, you had a big game that game. 2 forced fumbles against Oak Grove last year. You remember those?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you looking forward to that again this week?
I'm looking forward to it, always.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, too. Coach, what can you tell us about the Tigers this week, and what kind of game can we expect?
Well, I'll tell you, it's always a battle when you play Oak Grove. It just so happens that both of us are coming off state championship seasons, and, whether we coming off state champ years or years that we both made early exits in the playoffs, it's OCS Oak Grove, and that's always a battle. We're always going to give our best versus them. They're always going to give their best versus us, and again, it's a measuring stick for each school. But they have Jackson Bradley back for the third-year starter. He has definitely gotten a lot stronger as a runner and as a passer, and doing a great job leading that offense. I tell you, I like the running back, Romarian Ruffin. Great vision. He is as good a cutback, running back, and speed. A lot like the Sermons kid from Ouachita, that he just needs a little bit of crease. And so it's going to be real important for our defense to to do their job, play their gaps that they're supposed to play. Because, again, Ruffin has that capability of breaking one at any time, and then several good receivers, big line up front, typical of Oak Grove, and then a defense that's scrappy and gets after it, led by James Freeman, who was All-State last year, and, great ball player at that linebacker position. And so, again, it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out, and the team that makes the fewest mistakes will be the team that wins.
So one thing I noticed when I went back and looked at kind of the game stats from last year was time of possession. We had 34 minutes of possession. They had 14. And so that was a huge difference, and, essentially what I think was a key to victory. Is that something that you consider in your game plan? Do you want to possess the ball, or is that just kind of a natural, is that just the way it naturally worked out because of the way we played?
Yeah, I think got in a situation last year where they had to start throwing the ball a lot, and so they were stopping the clock on some incomplete passes or out of bounds, things like that, and our running game was able to keep the clock going. And so, but anytime you can win the time of possession war, it's a plus.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you guys got anything to add about this game? I mean, I know it's one that you're looking forward to. On the road, they got a chip on their shoulder. How do you guys feel about that?
Just ready to get after it, Us and Oak Grove, always a good rivalry game, just ready to go out there and just get after it and show them what we're capable of.
That's right. Well, look, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I know this is not something that you typically do, but y'all did great. And I also want to say that, it's a pleasure for me to be able to call y'all's football games and watch y'all play over the past couple years. So there you have it, folks. Monster Clash in week 2 of the season. I want to thank you, Coach, for coming on again this week, and I look forward to visiting again with you next week. It's going to be a great atmosphere on Friday night. I want to thank you for turning in to the Week 2 Inside Look at Washita Christian Football and the Weekly Coaches Show with Coach Stephen Fitzhugh. Offensive lineman, number 52, Ryder Bentley. Defensive lineman, number 45, Ben Duvall. And this is one game that you don't want to miss, 7 o'clock on Friday night. Thanks again for watching. Go Eagles.
I so wanted to mess y'all up. I so wanted to mess them up.
They got ice in their veins. You can't mess them up.
Oh, if I had yelled cabbage, I think they would have. Thank you.
I would have started laughing.
I forgot to stop this thing. I don't know.